Welcome back, everybody. I'm Captain Foley. This is the library. I'm in it. You're in it now with me. And you're going to follow me on a new series of videos. This is episode 1, but the series is called Shelf by Shelf. And this has been kind of a long time coming. It's been influenced recently because I've been watching a YouTuber by the name of Maven of the Evertide. She is a vampire YouTuber that talks about vampire books, vampire culture, vampire movies, and she's also a huge Phantom of the Opera fan. Recently I've been checking out her videos that she did for patrons, where she goes through her book collection, tells you a little bit about each piece, and all the knickknacks on her shelves. I'm going to do that as well, because a lot of you guys have asked about a lot of the stuff back here and back there. Because behind you is a large bookcase of Star Trek books. Old, new, some are signed. So we're going to go through, look at each one, kind of talk a little bit about each one, and get a feel for what the stories are, their personal stories. And, you know, whether some are signed, you know, there's various things that we can run into here, as you're going to see in a minute. So I'd like to thank Dan Ben, who kind of influenced this idea when I was on a live earlier today. I appreciate that, Dan. Thank you so much. And also Maven of the Evertide, and just all of you for being curious and wondering. I'm a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes and many other things, and these shelves are kind of broken down into like areas. Whole Sherlock Holmes shelf behind me, the Star Trek shelf behind you guys, graphic novels, history books, books on mythology, ancient Egypt, vampires. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here that I think are going to kind of show my interest, as well as Silvia's. A lot of the stuff is Silvia's as well. So as we go through each shelf, we're going to break it down and talk about it. Now, when she did her Phantom of the Opera video, it was an hour and a half long because she did the whole bookshelf. I don't want to do that. I want to break it down, as the title says, shelf by shelf. And today is pretty cool. I am wearing my Sherlock, well, elementary Dear Data shirt, as you can see. Tying my two favorite things together, which is Star Trek and Sherlock Holmes. So I thought it was an apropos shirt to wear. So today we're going to be looking at, like I said, Star Trek books from behind you guys, and we're going to get a feel for what's on there. We're going to start with the top shelf. So this is the top shelf episode, which is generally the best stuff. In this case, it's just stuff that had to go there because that's where it fit. And we're going to look at some other stuff as well, some of the stuff on the floor that doesn't have a home yet because we're not finished with the library. We got to put up some more bookcases and get this stuff in there. And these are things that I bought recently or purchased recently that don't have a home yet. So I think it's a good way to start out. So let's take a look at the shelf in question, and then we'll talk about it. Let's go. So here's a partial shot of the shelf behind you. There's the sand art I fiddle with during my lives, and there's just a few of the Star Trek books that are on it. Now this is the top shelf, but this is also not the top shelf because this is the top shelf. So we're going to be looking at these things, and like I said, I've acquired a bunch of other stuff lately that does not quite have a home. It's tucked right down there, so we're going to take a look at that as well. So let's get into it. And let's talk about Star Trek books. Now we'll start off by saying I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. I'm going to keep them kind of at a reasonable length. I don't want to go 2 hours. After each bookcase is done, I'll probably do a compilation video putting them all together into one piece, if you guys are interested in watching that. But we're going to break it down little bit by little bit here. So the first thing, which I absolutely love, is this 25th anniversary Star Trek Enterprise. This is from the Franklin Mint. I'll take it off the stand here. This is from the Franklin Mint. It is die-cast metal, which is awesome. I've added some embellishments to it. I've done videos on this as well. You can check those out on the channel. Just look up Franklin Mint 25th Anniversary Enterprise. That's this thing. It is gorgeous. Gold electroplated front deflector, and it's got a little slot in the back which opens out, and there is a little Galileo shuttle in there. Not to scale of the ship by any means, but, and also not to scale is this next feature. This top comes off, and you've got a detailed bridge in there. I mean, it's not as detailed as it could be, but it is pretty cool nonetheless. So So that's that there. There's the view screen. Oh, sorry, I'm hitting the camera. But yeah, that's the bridge. So this is a piece I've had since I was a kid. Here's the stand. It's got the 25th anniversary silver delta on it, and yeah, it sits up there with honor and pride. It looks very beautiful up there. It's got a nice angled tilt to it on the stand, which looks really nice up on a top shelf, as you guys saw. So let's move on to the next thing. If you guys hear snoring and aren't familiar with my lives, I apologize. It is my pugs. They're both here. They need to be with me, and of course they're sleeping and snoring. But next up is my Saurian brandy bottle. This is actually, the company is, let's see here, Dickel, Tennessee. So you can get these bottles, you just have to add some accoutrements to them to make them Saurian brandy bottles. But this one currently has the cork broke off in there, which is easy enough to get out. I'll do that later. But this I picked up at Ticonderoga when I was at the Ticonderoga set tours. A gentleman there was selling some of them that he had made as props, and I picked one up. This one's got a loose neck thing. I need to glue that, but it's got the handle for pouring, and it's just kind of cool. No captain should be without one. So there you go. Need a drink later. Next up is another of my favorite pieces, and that is this. A gold ambassador class. Well, it's the Enterprise C. Well, it's not. It doesn't have registry on it, but it is an ambassador class. It's supposed to be the Enterprise C. This is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from Diamond Select. They were going to be making these, mass producing them, and they never got to releasing them. All they released were these ones for San Diego Comic-Con, the gold ones. There's no electronics in it. It's just a standard model, but it's in the nice gold color. One of my favorite ships of all time, the Ambassador class, picked up by a good friend of mine, Jason Vinik, and he held on to it for a long time before he actually shipped it to me. So I'm glad I got it. He was at San Diego Comic-Con. I think he grabbed 2 of them. One for another one of my friends and one of the admins on the Facebook group and the mods on this channel, which is Joe Torres. At least I think he grabbed him one. Might have been limited to 1 per person. But anyway, regardless, I got mine. Here it is here. It has a place of pride up there. It looks really good up there. And I really wish that Diamond Select would have continued, A, making Star Trek ships, and B, would have actually mass-produced this. They were also supposed to do a Reliant, which we had saw pictures of for a long time. Never got it. Never got it, which is just a shame. Here's the stand. It's just like the Excelsior stand. This one's a little dusty. That's the other thing this series gets me a chance to do, is actually dust all these shelves as I do them one by one. So by the time we're finished all these, that'll be dusty again, because it's probably going to take a while. Don't expect these every week. They're going to come when they come. So, but anyway, yes, so it is the Monster Maroon Delta. Nice little stand there. And again, looks absolutely beautiful up there. So hopefully you guys, you see it in some of my videos, because I do sometimes show it off on lives. Like I'll point the camera up there, but it's really nice. It's a nice piece. So one of my favorites right up top. Top shelf stuff, don't you know? Literally and figuratively. Wow. Yeah. Alright, now moving on to the books that you saw up there. First we have Star Trek The Next Generation 365. This is a beautiful book. Very big. Quite hefty. And it's basically 365. It's a fact for every day. Whether they're talking about production, an episode, whatever. It's just full of beautiful pictures, and it's a good read. It's a good bite-sized read. You can read a different page every day of the year, should you choose to. So this is the TNG one, of course, and yeah, they're nice. These are nice. If you can get your hands on them, please do. So this is by Paula M. Block and Terry Erdman. There it is. Moving right along, as we tend to do here, is Star Trek, the original series, 365. 365. Same thing. This is all about TOS condensed to small little stories, so you can just read along every day, have a little something to read that's Star Trek related. Again, lots of nice cool stories about the episodes or even behind the scenes production, stuff like that. There's always really cool things in here, and it's a great way to brush up on some Star Trek knowledge and insight and get some cool facts under your belt. This one is also by Paula Block and Terry Erdman, as you can see there. So again, I highly recommend these. A visual celebration of Star Trek, the original series, including the definitive guide to all 79 episodes. So all 79 episodes are covered in here, and like I said, a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So these are amazing, but they're heavy. Lots of books are heavy. This next one was on top, so it's dusty, but it's my Ships of the Line book. This is, of course, text by Michael Okuda, and then edited by Doug Drexler and Margaret Clark. So you got the beautiful Federation ships on the front, and on the back, all of the adversary ships, done by Doug Drexler. Now, I'm going to take this out of the sleeve for a moment, because I want to show you this one is quite special. This one inside is signed by Doug Drexler, John Eves, and Rick Sternbach. When we went to LA, me and Samuel for Mission America, we were at Doug Drexler's house. We invited all these guys over. They all got together and hung out with us, and they signed it. So Doug says, "Captain Stewie, go boldly, but go home. Love, Doug Drexler." As you can see, and he stamped it with an NX stamp. And then we got John Eves, "To the mighty Captain Foley, you're a king amongst men." He says, "King amongst men," and there he signed that and doodled a little ship, which is really cool. And then lastly, we got Rick Sternbach, who just signed Rick Sternbach, and then drew a planetscape. If you didn't know, he did a lot of the paintings and planetscapes and stuff that was hanging up around the Enterprise D. So this is a very special book. I even have, this was Doug testing out his stamps to make sure that they had enough ink on them, and testing out the pens included in here, which is awesome. But the book, if you didn't know, this is just the art of the Ships of the Line calendar, and it talks about each piece and the artists. And one of our channel moderators on YouTube, Matt Boardman, has contributed work to this. Matt Boardman's a visual effects artist and has his stuff in here, and so does Bill Krause. There are some Bill Krause pieces as well. Very nice book. Bill Krause, I've known Bill Krause for 7 years. Been going to Wonderfest for a long time and see him every year at Wonderfest. So I knew Bill Krause before he was famous, before he was working on Star Trek, which is amazing. And yeah, so a lot of his artwork is in here, as are many other talented artists, including Matt Boardman and many, many others. So if you can get your hands on this, there should be a new one coming out at some point, because they've done a lot of calendars since this one. So this is like the second one. The first one is right here. This is the first Ships of the Line, which is the same thing, but a lot thinner, because they hadn't done as many calendars at this point. But of course I have that one. Again, shot of the Federation fleet there, and then on the back is all the alien ships. And this one is not signed. I didn't take this one with me when I went down, but it's the exact same book up to a certain point, and it's just beautiful, fantastic artwork in there. So if you don't have it, go get it. Go pick up the newest one. There's some really great stuff, like stuff you never see, like the Captain Jot on the Enterprise D launching. The Calypso, is it? Yeah, the Calypso. So the Ships of the Line calendar always has amazing art. I get one every year for Christmas. Silvia's bought me one every year. It's always downstairs in my office, and yeah, really beautiful artwork. So, there you go. So, next up is, this is one I picked up, probably just at a used bookstore. This is the Star Trek Encyclopedia, but this is the softcover version. This one, of course, is Michael and Denise Okuda. Just added 128 pages of the latest Star Trek info. So the problem I have with these encyclopedias is you buy one and literally like a month later it's outdated because something new Star Trek has come out. This one I got for $10. Picked it up at, I think, City Lights, which is a bookstore here in London. Yeah, this is the paperback version. But yeah, it's just it's literally an encyclopedia of Star Trek. Anything and everything you want to know about Star Trek, they have here. I don't have the newest version of this, which is like a 2-volume set, but it's obviously updated as well with all the new Star Trek. So, but there's so much cool stuff in here. Everything that's been in Star Trek is in here, up to a certain point, and really interesting tidbits and facts, and nice art as well. So that one's up there because I do have another one. I have a hardcover one, which is down a couple shelves, which we'll get to when we get to that shelf. Following on its heels is this one, Star Trek, the art, or the motion picture inside the art and visual effects. And this is a beautiful, beautiful art book, which again has some fantastic, just fantastic behind the scenes photos and design concepts from Star Trek the Motion Picture, which is great. I've had this one for a few years. Jeff Bond and Gene Kozicki have done this one, and it's kind of awesome. Something fell out of it. What fell out of it? Oh, what is this? Hope you enjoy this. Doug Drexler said it was great. Justin Hampton. Ah yes, so this was sent to me by one of our viewers, Justin Hampton, sent via Amazon. So thank you for that. If you guys ever want to send me anything, reach out. I will provide you with an address you can send it to. A lot of you have sent me things, and I really appreciate that. So, thank you. All right. Next is The Art of Star Trek Discovery. I know what you're thinking. Stuart, you don't like Star Trek Discovery. Not true. I like a lot about Star Trek Discovery. This one is, again, the same kind of book. It's an art book with behind-the-scenes images, concept art, whole bunch of stuff. Can't remember where I got this one, but oh my god, come on. It's the problem with hardcovers sometimes. They're hard to like hold to show you guys. I try and take a new approach to my book showing videos, but this is not really what I had planned here. So, like my Art of G.I. Joe book, go watch that. But yeah, there's different alien designs, and that was going to be Saru for a while. But yeah, really beautiful book. Again, Paula Block and Terry Erdman did this one as well. This is one of my favorites right here. This is the Star Trek Vault, 40 years from the archives. And this has a bunch of promotional material, giveaways, patches, stickers, stuff from over the years. And this book is cool. Actually, I'm going to take the slip covers off to show you guys these books much easier, I hope. This one comes with interesting things, like we're talking about the comics here, as you can see. And this has a little slide-out thing with a little Star Trek coloring book. which is just a sample of what the actual coloring book looked like. But I actually have that coloring book. I don't believe it's up here. I think, where is that? Not sure. But it's full of little things like that. Just talks about a lot of promotional stuff, like McDonald's Happy Meal stuff and toys. Romulan ale and beer. But it's got little things you can pull out and interact with, and even the hardcover, once you take the dust jacket off, is nice with the Enterprise there. This looks very much like the Tomy Enterprise box, actually. Got the nacelles on the back there. So that's the Star Trek Vault. This one I should probably do, well, actually, I'll say that now. If you guys want to see any of these books in more detail, pop a comment down below. I will consider doing videos exclusively on your requests. This one I've had for a long time. These are the Voyages, 1966 to 1996, three-dimensional Star Trek album. So I would have got this in '96 by Charles Kurtz. You got a nice lenticular shot of the Enterprise there, coming out of warp, or going backwards into warp, if you will. And this one is a pop-up book. I'll be very careful with this one, but different pop-up pieces, and also fold-out areas as well. We can turn Jean-Luc here into Locutus. Where's the thing for it? There it is. So if we slide this, then he becomes Locutus. I am Jean-Luc Picard. I am Locutus. Locutest of Borg. The cutest of Borg, don't you know? So yeah, really cool stuff. It's very fragile, but super interesting. So that's all the stuff up on that top shelf. Now we're going to dive into some of this other stuff that's been put here willy-nilly just because there's no room for it right now. Eventually there will be, but we're going to look at it today instead. And so there's everything back in its original configuration. A lot of these are stacked this way just due to their size being awkward and not fitting in the rest of the bookcase here. So that's why they're up there. But I think when you're down at the desk looking up, that's mighty impressive. So, alright, let's move on to the other pieces. Alright, so preparing you guys now. There is some randomness down here. Some of it might be Silvia's, some of it's mine. I'll let you know. So first up, we got the Scottish Maps calendar from 2019. Just some beautiful maps. We have a nice old school library here. A lot of these maps can be framed and put up elsewhere at a future date. So just a bunch of old maps. Kind of cool. After that, we've got Star Trek: The Next Generation, the continuing mission. Judith and Garfield Reese Stevens, the 10th anniversary tribute to TNG. This is down there because, I don't know, I've got two of them. One's in the shelf behind you as well. But, yeah, let me just slide that cover off and take a look inside. So again, this is just celebrating 10 years of TNG, 10-year anniversary. So again, behind the scenes stories, concept art, ship designs, lots of cool stuff. There's a, jeez, it just hit me in the face. Showing the sets and stuff and talking about how things were done. And there's Michael Piller, rest in peace. And then Star Trek: The Experience. So there's a lot in here, a lot of really good stuff. Star Trek: Next Generation, the continuing mission. So I do have an extra one. My other one might be signed. We'll have to see when we get there, but great book. Lots of really cool stuff. Next up is Eyewitness Books Mummy. I don't know where or when I got this. probably been around a while. This is the what, DK Media or whatever. This one's actually been water damaged. I think I picked this up at where it was given to me. I can't recall. I do have another version of this, a better version, but this one's a little bit crunchy, as you can tell. But I love ancient Egypt, love mummies, love history. So this is here. Also got one on pyramids. This one is not damaged, but as you can see, it's a great learning book. I like this style of book. Break stuff down into bite-sized bits, and you know, great for learning or just perusing through when you don't really want to be reading a lot. So there you go. Pyramid. What do those have to do with Star Trek? Nothing. Like I said, randomness. We've got Prism Designs, Color Your Imagination Wild. I believe this is one of Silvia's, yeah, it's one of Silvia's coloring books that she does to relieve stress. She now has a coloring app on her iPad that she colors the daily pictures, and but yeah, these are really relaxing. So there's that one, and there's another one here, Optical Designs, which summer started, not finished, but you know, this is one I picked up as just a gag, kind of a gay gift for Silvia. She was in a coloring phase, so I picked her up the Star Trek Next Generation adult coloring book. Why is it an adult coloring book? I don't know. It's not dirty or anything. Well, I mean, look at the first picture I have to turn to, of course. Yeah, it's just literally TNG stuff you can color. And I don't. Oh, there's a Sherlock Holmes one. That's cool. Matches my shirt. But yeah, you know. Nice artwork. Will they ever get colored? I don't know. But brace your imagination. And it's got some colored tunics on the front there. I don't know. It's fine. And then A Lost Continent, which is another color book, which is just more of the same intricate pictures for zoning out and just coloring. Alright, what's next? Alright, so next up we've got Jurassic World, the exhibition. This is in Toronto. Silvia and myself went. I did a video of that day trip. It was really fun. So this is the souvenir program. And it's just, you know, I was big into Jurassic Park when I was younger. Love the dinosaurs. And no, I say it dinosaurs. I say it correctly, dinosaurs, not dinosaurs. But anyway, it is just the souvenir program from there. And was it overpriced? Hell yeah. This was $24 Canadian for that. But at the same time, I had to have it. You know. Next up, In the Shadow of Eternity. Now, this is volume 3. I also have volume 2 and volume 1. And these are all done by a fan of the channel, Nathan Warner, who sent me these. He started watching Trekyards many, many years ago, and we were the impetus that got him to make these books. He wanted, after watching our show, wanted to get back into drawing, specifically Star Trek stuff. There are a few other things in some of these books, I believe. I don't think they're all Star Trek. But they are really cool. They're signed to Captain Foley, and a whole story about how, why he got back into this because of our show. And I actually met him at Denver Comic Con. No, not Denver Comic Con. Where did I meet him? Starfest in Denver a number of years ago. And once he finally got these books published, he sent me all these to me for me to enjoy. And each one has a little write-up from him. I don't know where you can purchase these, but there's some beautiful, beautiful Star Trek art in them. He posts on the Trekyards page on Facebook quite a bit, his art with the stories that go with them. So if you guys ever see Nathan Warner's stuff, by all means, check it out. This one also, inscription to Captain Foley, and some personal stories or stories based around the pictures, and he's written the stories as well. But like some really nice artwork. I was going to review these at one point. I never got around to it. Maybe I'll have to take a look. But like, look at that. Look at that bird of prey. Constellation. So, David Warner, awesome work, man. The Cosplayer's Essential Guide to the Monster Maroon. This was sent to me as well by a viewer and friend of the channel, whose name is escaping me right now. I've hung out with him at Wonderfest, but this is just how to put together a Monster Maroon, all of the correct colors, patterns, things about the undershirts, you know, it's all in here on how to make a proper Monster Maroon, how to adorn it, which rank pips and pins and all of the special accoutrement that goes on it. It's a fantastic, well, it's an essential guide for cosplayers that have a Monster Maroon. And there are pictures in the back of a number of people, fans that have Monster Maroons, some of which I know. So let's take a quick look here. I probably know quite a few of these people actually, but there are a few that stand out that I want to give special acknowledgement to. Desiree Terbon, she is a good friend of mine from London here. She volunteers at the London Comic Cons every year. Edna Singleton, she's the one that made my Monster Maroon vest for me, which is great. Let's see. Grant M. I know Grant M. I'll show his picture. He's another one that I see at a lot of conventions, and him and his wife always stop to say hi. Yeah, a lot of these people are on my friends list, like J. Greg Thompson there at the bottom. So they're showing off their Monster Maroons in that, which is I think that's great. I also got sent this by the same person. Is it Raymond Anders? I think Raymond Anders sent me these. But this is Volume 2, Enlisted Personnel and Training Jumpsuits. So this is just Part 2. There is another one out now, I think, for the field jacket that they have in Star Trek 2. Again, it's just everything you need to know about it to have it look good and be correct, screen accurate. And they're great little pieces for people to follow. I think I know people in here as well. Yes, indeed I do. There's a good friend of mine, William J. He is another member of the channel. Good friend. Met him at STLV in 2019. Him and Sam, or me and Sam met him. And Joe Colton as well, a friend of his. There he is again. Crew of the USS Farragut. He is a fantastic cosplayer. He's sometimes on my lives, popping in and saying hi. But so there's those two pieces, which is awesome. Also picked up this, the Star Trek Explorer presents Star Trek: The Short Story Collection. This is a collection of short stories that all take place in the Star Trek Online universe. So they have some interesting Star Trek Online pictures and art, and include stories that even include Tuvok and Captain Kim. So little small kind of bite-sized stories, but yeah. And on the back is a shot of the Enterprise F. This is another one. Star Trek Explorer presents Star Trek Q and False and Other Stories. These are some stories that involve Q and some other ones as well, but there's quite a few Q-based stories in here. Even got 7 of 9 fighting herself. And these are more of the same, essentially. Just different, like 2 or 3 page long stories that focus on different characters in different settings. There's a Q messes with Archer and a few other things in here like that. So these I need to review at some point for sure. So Star Trek Lives, Volume 1. This is all of the James Blish adaptations up to Volume 6, which are just novelized versions of the TOS episodes. Got those all in a box set. This one I can't remember where I picked this up. Again, I think somebody sent this to me, but I cannot recall who. So I apologize if it's you. Very cool to have. Thank you. Alright, let's move on. Alright, chugging right along, we got this one. Alien Covenant, The Art and Making of. This we picked up at City Lights, Sylvia and myself. Sylvia's a huge fan of Alien, the Alien franchise. So, same thing, more production photos. Just these art books are great. They show concepts, art, and nice volume on the making of the movie. So, that's that one. Next up is Star Trek Original Series Trivia Book. This was actually given to me by my brother Steve last year for my birthday. It is a magazine style, just different trivia, Star Trek trivia questions, which is fun to go through. So, yeah. But yeah, Original Series Trivia Book. Next up is Ghost Agents. This is done by a friend of mine from Wonderfest, Rocco Jerome, and some of his friends. Apocalypse Rising is what this one, or Apocalypto, sorry, is the company that produces it. But it is a original comic series that he has been working on, and it's pretty friggin' great. It's all spy stuff, and it is a really fantastic series. So, yeah, Ghost Agents. Nice cover. I've got more of these elsewhere, but this one was the one I got this last trip to Wonderfest, so really kind of great. This one was also picked up at City Lights in London, Ontario here. It is Star Trek, the classic UK comics, the complete series, Volume 1, 1969 to 1970. This was picked up at City Lights Books as well when last time Sylvia and I went. There's a whole video about that on the channel. Just type in Captain Foley, Sylvia, City Lights Bookstore. You'll find it. This one I almost didn't pick up, and Sylvia insisted that I should. These are all comics from UK newspapers, and I haven't really given it much of a look through, but there's some interesting stuff in there for sure. And it's only Volume 1. I need to pick up the other volumes. Don't know how many there are, but pretty cool little book. Speaking of City Lights, this was also picked up there at the same time. Again, there's a whole video talking about this where I show this stuff off in more detail, but this is the Stewart period, and this was printed, like, I don't know, if I forget the date on this. It's inside, it's like early 1800s, so it's an actually old kind of magazine type deal. And it's pretty cool. And the Stuart period, again, had to pick it up. This was only $12.99. It's got some loose pages and stuff, but it's got some interesting stuff in it. So there's a whole video about that. Maybe I'll put it down in the description so you guys can check out that City Lights book tour, because that's where a lot of this stuff actually came from for this pile. This next one is actually from our trip to LA that we did in the fall. Went to the Iliad bookstore. Now, if you know the movie Free Enterprise, the Iliad bookstore is where they meet, where the main characters, Robert and Mark, meet William Shatner. It's interesting because that's where they meet William Shatner. The bookstore's moved, but it's the same owner, same feel, same look inside, and it wasn't on our radar to go. But we were visiting Doug Drexler. Sylvia and I were visiting Doug Drexler, and he said, while you're here, you should go down the block and check out the Iliad bookstore. And I'm like, what? It's here? He said, yeah, it's not the original one from the movie, but it's the same owners. They've moved locations, so it's got that same feel. So go down and take a look before you leave. So we literally walked from Doug Drexler's place down there with Matt Boardman. Matt Boardman came to see us as well. So we all went together, and I got The Study of Star Trek Autographs, which just talks about Star Trek autographs over the years, how they've changed, what they look like for different people. It's kind of neat. It's a weird little piece of history to show how their signatures or autographs have changed. I apologize for my dogs snoring and barking in their dreams, but that's okay. It adds ambiance. My latest Haggerty Drivers Club magazine, The Camaro We Love, an article about the Camaros, because Camaros are great. And so yeah, that's my classic car insurance. They send me this quarterly, so I've kept a few of them because there's good stuff in there. But anyway, yeah, so Drivers Club magazine. Again, this one is from the City Lights trip. I got Star Trek, the USS Enterprise Punch-Out book. This is you build your own Star Trek Enterprise refit out of cardboard, out of the paper that's in here. It's all unpunched. But you can't see any of it because I keep hitting the wrong pages. Because of course I do. There's the nacelles. See, it skips the pages that I want you to see. Saucer. All unpunched. I considered building it, but I'm like, where am I going to put it? There's the stand for it. So I'm just going to leave it as is, unpunched. I think that's probably the best move, but here's the neck. And it shows you how to construct it. Pretty sure I had one of these when I was a kid and built it, but I was too young to remember, and it probably got wrecked. Next up, we've got Starfleet Prototype, the Journal of Innovative Design and Ideas. This I picked up just before Christmas because I was Christmas shopping for Silvija at a store downtown across from the library called Attic Books. Was going to go upstairs and buy some things for Silvija, walked by this and said, I got to grab that on the way out. So I sure did. This is great. I've got a lot of these kind of books, which are books from back in the day. As you guys know, or should know, this just talks about starship design, different starship types, and shows them off, shows their specs. Some interesting take on ships. So this is a piece of Star Trek book history, like a lot of the stuff behind you. So I'm glad to finally have got this. I didn't know it existed, but cool to have. And since I got it, people are like, oh yeah, I've had that for years. It's like, oh, cool, great. So yeah, that's that. Starfleet Prototype. Next ones I bought at Wonderfest. Ships of Starfleet, Volume 1 Revised, still in the plastic. Still in the plastic. Ships of Starfleet. These are also legendary books in the Star Trek community. This one I got for $55, which was an alright price. I love that it's still sealed. Have not opened it yet. Should I open it? I don't know, comment down below. But I also got Ships of Starfleet Volume 2. This one I got at City Lights like a month and a half before I went to Wonderfest. So if you want to see what the inside of Volume 1 looks like, it's very similar to this one, which is charts, graphs, more ship stuff. There are foldouts. Ship foldouts and deck plans for different perimeter ships and stuff like that, which is kind of neat. The whole thing, the whole back is just foldouts of different decks. Bridge. So a fantastic reference for if you want to do deck plans for ships, and there's like a whole bunch of different decks for this thing. So, but there it is, Volume 2, which I picked up first, and I was like, oh man, they don't have Volume 1. Then at Wonderfest, lo and behold, I was with my buddy Blappy and saw this at a friend's table and picked it up. I didn't have any cash on me at the time because I only had my card. These guys weren't accepting cash. So Dave bought this for me graciously, and then just, yeah, I paid him back later. So, anyway, yeah. Ships of Starfleet, Volume 1 and 2. Nice. Classic. Starfleet Technical Manual, Franz Joseph. This is the hardcover with the red cover inside, and it is just the technical manual, Franz Joseph Technical Manual. If you know, you know. If you don't know, get on it. Figure it out, because this was my Bible growing up. I still have my original one, which is behind you. My original one is signed by William Shatner, Walter Koenig, and James Doohan. This one I picked up, I can't even remember where I picked this one up. It wasn't that long ago. It might have been at Wonderfest, actually. But it's the hardcover version of it, which I never had. So, nothing on the spine. It's just, my other one is like the 20th anniversary edition or something. So, 20th anniversary of Star Trek, I mean. So, yeah. We have 2 of the Prodigy kids books. Supernova and a Dangerous Trade. There is another one which I haven't got my hands on yet, but there is another one. Haven't read these yet, but they, I was supporting Prodigy at the time. Hashtag Save Prodigy. Went on Amazon and bought everything I could find. I missed one of the books though. I could only find 2. Thought there was only 2. Ordered them, and then I found out there was a 3rd one, and I haven't gone back to order it. Should be interesting reads, but don't know yet. So, on that same trip to City Lights Books, Silvija picked this up, Star Trek Cross Stitch. She likes cross stitching and doing things like that from time to time, so she picked this up so that she could do some Star Trek patterns. Pretty cool stuff in here, actually, I gotta say. L-cars and stuff. So, that's a Silvija book right there. This one I got just recently, and I've already done a video on it. I did a video on this like a month ago. This is the USS Cerritos Crew Handbook, and it's great. Like I said, I already done a video on it. Check it out. I'll try to link relevant videos in the description down below. So, and I just dropped this out of it. This is kind of what goes on the front and around the book, but it's really inconvenient. It slides, so, but there it is. It's kind of like a dust jacket, but not, and really nice patterns on the book itself, and then the Cerritos on the front there, so very cool. I've recently done a video on this one as well. This one I've had for quite a long time though. This is the Weapon and Field Equipment Technical Reference Manual. And this has a bunch of different sci-fi properties in it, such as Space 1999, Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek. I believe there's even like Logan's Run stuff in here. And like I said, I did a video not that long ago on it, but it shows off all of the weapons and tech from various sci-fi franchises. This was written by Shane Johnson. now Laura Johnson, who we've talked to, and she's actually really fantastic. So, but yeah, it covers the colonial blasters and stuff like that, and even lightsabers right there. So yeah, I've done a video on this as well. If any of these books, if you've seen these books and you're like, I want to know more about that, check my channel, because chances are I've done a video on it. If I haven't, comment down below, something you'd like to see more of. Also done a video on this, Star Trek, The Worlds of the Federation. This is not the hardcover version. I have a paperback version as well, but this is the hardcover version. And again, this is written by Shane Johnson as well. Sorry, Laura Johnson. And it goes through all of the member worlds of the Federation, all of the enemies, and talks about their planets, gives you more details about not only their planet but their biologies. Look at Gorn, like a Gorn's supposed to be, and is a really great reference material. This one, my brother had this when I was a kid, and I was so jealous that he had it, and I could never find it. Now I have 2 versions of it, so ha! Take that, Steve. But really fun, really good thing to learn about different species in Star Trek. And just, you know, these are the books I grew up on. Me and people my age. The technical manual, this. There's so many others that we'll get into when we get to other shelves. This video is already becoming very long. If I had done the whole bookcase, we'd be here forever. Almost done though. Got 2 more books to look at. And that are these. The Star Trek Enterprise Logs. Right there. And this is volume 2 and issue number 1, so I guess volume 1. These are really kind of neat. These I picked up at I think these ones I got at City Lights. I think I picked up some more of these which are downstairs that I picked up somewhere else, and they're basically just comic books. The old style Star Trek comics, which aren't very Star Trek-like at times. But hey, some odd, good shots of the Enterprise or whatever. Fun reads, product of their time. Definitely not canon. So yeah, got these 2 volumes of that, which smell like old comic books, which is pretty great. So there. So that's it for that for now. There are a few other things beside the bookcase, but I'll get to those when we get on to one of the lower shelves. But I just wanted to do this first episode of this new series, Shelf by Shelf. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please comment down below anything you want to say to me, anything that you want to learn more about. I will consider doing videos on them. If you saw something you are interested in, like I said, type it in the search bar for my channel. Chances are I might have done a video on it, because a lot of the stuff I have done. So bear that in mind. But yeah, eventually we'll get to all the shelves here and learn about everything. Like I said, there's a lot more Star Trek behind you. And this one went a little long because I didn't expect to do all that stuff on the floor. So hopefully it goes better and smooth sailing from here on out. But thank you guys for watching this first episode. Please comment down below anything you think about this. Any way I can improve it, let me know. Just kind of flipping through them the way I did. I don't know how I feel about that. But also I think better lighting might be in order. But again, we will see what we can do, and I'll take your suggestions under advisement. So thank you for watching. Please hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel, the Captain Foley personal channel, as well as the main Trekyards channel. Always talking about Star Trek over there. We love it. And check out another video by me right over there. I'll link one of these book videos. So check it out. Until next time, I'm Captain Foley. Thank you for joining me. Bye, everybody.